We're in April. It's been a while since we've sat and talked, and I get a chance now to do it, thanks to Mandy. And I just had my hair redone, so I'm nice and purple today, which makes me very happy. I found that in doing the videos, that when I did things on children, people were really interested. They came back, they read it again, and watched it again, and they talked to me about it and what it meant to them. So I'd like to do a little bit more, and I hope that it fills some of your needs in understanding the value of our relationships with our children. I had someone say they found it boring when they were infants. There really wasn't much to do other than change them and feed them. And in reality, there's many, many things that go on in those early months, early years that are the foundation of their lives. They really do make a lasting impression. They may not be able to verbalize what they had happen and how it affected them, but it's there, and you can see it in behavior. You can see it in their sense of self, their confidence, knowing that they're loved and respected, going through what we call the terrible twos, that I call the terrific twos, the tempestuous twos. But whatever they are a very important period of time in their lives. They're starting to feel a little independence, and very often they say things that are outrageous to their parents. And it's us as educators and parents to let people know that that behavior is interesting, that it's a part of their necessary growth and development, and it isn't an attack against us as much as they're experimenting with growing up. And you think a 2-year-old is growing up, but they are. They understand, they can respond, they're just beginning to feel like they're a person, and they're feeling different than necessarily we want them to be. And that's important. So we start with our tiny ones. And what is it that an infant is doing in the early months of their lives? Number one, they're testing too. They test in the sense that they're not tired and we expect them to go to sleep. They often are directed by the parents as to a particular schedule they want, or how they want the child to sleep a certain number of hours. And the baby has a job to learn how to go to sleep, how to comfort themselves, how to fill the time between when they're awake and when they're tired enough to fall asleep. And we help them do that by giving them a length of time and not forcing our schedule. It doesn't mean you don't have one. That's important too. But recognizing that babies need to learn how to comfort themselves. And this is an interesting process. They do it by looking around, by playing with their feet, watching an infant discover their hands, and knowing what to do to fall asleep. Now, for some children, infants, it might be a pacifier that comforts them. It might be music, quiet music playing. What isn't the most helpful is necessarily rocking them, because then they're being put to sleep. And since what our goal is to help them learn how to self-regulate, that's not always the best thing to do. They need to know that you say, have a good rest, I'll see you later, and out. And you leave them and you see. Now, obviously, If a baby is crying any length of time, it's not acceptable. They need to be comforted. So go in, and it isn't so much of picking them up as it's maybe patting them a little and say, "Oh, I thought we were tired," and maybe stroking their forehead a little bit, but not in the act of totally putting them to just comfort and love always. So we have that initial learning that goes on, learning to eat when they're hungry. Now, sometimes when we have infants, we think, well, I'd like them to be on a 4 hour schedule or a 3 hour schedule, and we plan to feed them accordingly. But they may not be physically ready to eat at that time. Now, that means we have to be adjustable and we have to watch our child let us know these things. We spend, I hope, a lot of those early months conversing with them. I talked with babies all day, and I'd swear at the end of the day they had talked to me. They do it in gestures, in smiles. They respond, but they need to hear the words. They need to hear words that they aren't going to need to know necessarily. Just what are you doing? What are your plans for the day? What is she or he going to do, or what you're going to do with them? And remember, everything that is in a child's life has color, number, shapes, weight, smells, and all of those things have purposes. And conversation alone, simply saying, I'm going to mash the potatoes. This is a potato masher. Now, a little baby at 3 or 4 months obviously doesn't know what you're saying. Baby knows that you are conversing and hearing the tone of your voice and hearing the connection of letters and words that go together. The other thing that I found joyous to do is to sing. Now, you don't have to have a great voice, and you really have to don't. You can make up the songs. You can put their name in them. You can sing about what they're doing. You end up singing "Row, row, row your boat" in the alphabet song a lot. You can sing about the weather. The point is that it's a beautiful way for a child to attach to sounds in general. And if there's a song you really like and you sing it all the time, they're going to recognize it. They're going to know you're singing a special song, before eating song or bath time song. So I suggest that strongly. As they reach a 6 and 8 month period of time and they start being able to pick things up and drop them, that's valuable. So they have their first finger food, and it's usually Cheerios, and it's a good one. And they're going to drop them. They're going to drop them over the side of the high chair. They're going to watch them drop. They're going to follow it with their eyes. And they're becoming little engineers and little mathematicians. And they're going to watch the dog or cat come to nibble on whatever it is they've dropped, which make them drop them more. Parents often get frustrated with it, but it's valuable. It's a learning tool. They play with their food, and that's much fun. They draw pictures. They feel the consistency. Is it warm? Is it cold? Can they pick it up and mush it? Okay, so that's just eating what we do. When they get to be 8 months, 9 months, a year, pots and pans are great fun. You have a cabinet that's by you that is just for them with things that are safe. Plastic containers, some silverware, pots definitely, lids, and you let them. make a mess a little bit, and listen, and they're getting valuable knowledge. Yes, it's extra work, but we're their first teachers. As their first teachers, we have a role to play, and that is to provide them with enough opportunities to test their abilities, what they can pick up, what they can move, what they can stack, what they can put things inside things, learning all the time. And when they start taking their first steps, of course, they end up going where you don't want them to go because that's their role. They're going to try. And when they're a little bit older and they start maybe saying no, one of the things you have to think about with their infants is how often they hear those words. They heard it a lot, they're going to say it a lot. So if we can have our sentences be positive, if we can give them affirmations of how good they are and how they're loved and how well they're walking, or I like the way you did that, better than so you instead of no, you redirect. Can you put this here rather than can you throw this? Um, is this soft? Is it hard? Let's put this hard thing here uh, rather than stop that. Stop that no will not get you the results you really want. Because in most cases, as children get older, they have a why in their head. They want to know why, and they don't know why. As many times as you might say to them, I told you before, how many times do I have to tell you? They shouldn't hear that. We watch the stages that they're going through with interest and awe. I love to say to a child, I love to say when things are going a little odd, isn't that amazing? Look what you can do. And I like when you do this. Wow, look at, I'm very happy. And when you don't like what they do, tell them what you would like better. Just simply say, I like it when you do this, rather than the negative. You are building a foundation of thinking positively about their environment, about their actions, and about themselves. When we direct a child always in a way that makes them feel less important and that they're always making mistakes and they're always wrong, we're creating a pattern of behavior and thinking and self disavowal that's going to last them, believe me, forever. That's not what you want. And it's not going to make the relationship as they grow into twos and fives and teens you hope it would be, which is an ability to communicate in a positive way that knows how valuable they are. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have times when they've pushed all the buttons. And so you've heard me say prior to this that timeout does not work until a child really can tell you what it is was wrong and what would have worked better. Recognizing that parents often need time and space away from the behavior and letting a child know this, that you need some time away, you're not feeling very happy, and you need a break, and you're just going to sit in the other chair for a few minutes. It's not that you ignore them, and it's not that you leave them. It's you take that pause, that break, that allows you to think before you speak to them. You can't take the words back. You can change your behavior, you can act a different way the next time. But however you handled each of the discipline areas that they need and guidance, because that's what discipline is. Discipline is guidance. And that's our role. How can you best show them what works best, to learn to question, could you have done something different? What if you had done this instead? You know, would it have made you happier? Would it have done what you needed to have done? And each of the ages they go through will require a different kind of affirmation. Sometimes I think that if you do it as a natural part of their growing up, you're not going to feel phony about it. You're not going to feel you're making up things to say to them that you don't believe. You're going to believe them because you're going to see a result. And when that child responds to you with a hug after having maybe been corrected in a gentle way, letting you know that they are thinking about it when they're ready. In the meanwhile, hugs constantly, touching, um, acknowledging them, and enjoying those moments. You'll never get them again. So have fun with them. It's amazing to watch them grow. They're little people, and they're little adults, and they're copying a lot of the things they say. They are mimics. So we have to model what we want from them. And it's okay to make mistakes. Just be honest with yourself and see how you can be the best you can be for that wonderful little child that's a part of you and a part of your parents and a part of theirs. And guide when our behavior as children, when our direction, our, we call it uneven parenting, when our uneven parenting affects us as adults, it should help us recognize how to do a different kind of behavior for our children. Now, I hope that helps. I have a book I'd like to suggest. It's called Growing Up Again, Parenting Ourselves and Parenting Our Children. And it's quite a long book. And it's made mostly for people who have maybe come from families that were dysfunctional in certain ways, things that affected us as children, and how to look at our children in a different way. At the same time, we try to make changes in ourselves that are in a positive way so we can enjoy life and be happy. Love you all. And I hope that if you enjoy this, you can maybe reach out and tell me what it is that you're having a problem with your children, that maybe you'd like to know what I would have done. It may not be exactly what you need to do. It's just conversation and suggestions. I've been around children all of my life. They've been a part of my life, and they'll always be a part of my life. So anything I can do that will add to your feeling confident in what you do makes me happy. Okay? Love you all. Take care.